What's going on, everyone? It's me, Tim, from Tierfon Orbital. So today, I'm going to take a liberty, and I'm going to talk about a personal hilt. Okay, I try to do personal builds once in a while. I wanted to squeeze this one in before I left. I will be actually be out of office for about a week, starting on Saturday, which is in 2 days from now. So I'm really looking forward to taking a little bit of a break. But I wanted to get something installed that I've been working on for a little while, right? So this is a V3. This was from Rudy Pando. I am actually not sure if he called this the spirit of OB1, or if he is the spirit of OB1 or OB1. I know he's the spirit of OB1 on the RPF forums. I'm not quite sure what this is called. I'm pretty sure it's a V3, but there is a different Graflex section here. It's got some routed or holes in it. I am not too, forgive me, I'm not very schooled on the intricacies of the Luke V3 and V2, but I scored this on the lightsaber marketplace on Facebook, and it came with a Rudy Pando chamber, and I wanted to design something that was modular, that I could add to the Rudy Pando chamber to make it look a little bit extra special, a little bit extra unique. And I wanted to get something designed that other folks could use, right? So I designed a crystal chamber module, as well as some greeblies that go into that Rudy Pando chamber. I have one hilt with a Rudy Pando chamber in my collection. It is a fantastic crystal chamber reveal that is specifically made for these hilts. And I believe Roman Props is now offering them. They are offering them in full brass as well as aluminum. I think they have aluminum. But just a fantastic reveal crystal chamber that takes advantage of like a twist lock system. It's just a really, really great crystal chamber. And I'm happy that Romans is producing them now, because they will be more accessible to people, right? And I highly recommend them. If you want a crystal reveal in one of your Lukes, it's just a fantastic module, right? Fantastic add-on. So I want to come into Fusion and talk a little bit about what I designed, and then we will come up top, do a quick demo, get a closer look at it, and then we will be on our way, okay? So let's come into Fusion. Okay, so here it is, right? The full assembly, excuse me. So all of this has been done in brass. So just keep in mind the gems here are just for show. I likely won't be including that in my kit, but here it is. Okay, so we'll start at the bottom. Actually, we don't really need to start anywhere. I mean, this is really just it. So these two modules will replace the existing crystal chamber modules that are in the Rudy Pando chamber. So it does come with, the Pando chamber comes with something like this. So these are designed to replace these. Okay, so they go on the top and bottom. They are held in place with some set screws that are already in the Pando chamber, right? So I wanted to just get something that is unique to me while taking advantage of having some probes that are going into both the crystal and the gem. I designed this to have a lab-grown emerald. So there's an emerald up here. However, you don't have to put that up in this chamber, right? You can add a secondary crystal if you want, but for my build, I wanted to add an emerald up here. So that is what I have on top, and then at the bottom, I've got a real quartz point, okay? But that is the two upper and lower sections. To the left and right of that assembly, I've designed two greeblies that can just be epoxied or CA glued in place, right? So often we see channels routed on the side here. We'll probably get a closer look at where I'm talking about when we come up top. In fact, I had my buddy Jeremy route holes for my other one that's in my collection. So you can add your own greeblies, which looks badass, by the way. I think that's a great way to make the Pando chamber even more unique, but I wanted to have something that's modular and easier for people to add themselves. All right, so both of these are done in brass. And then there are two very small, like oval or kidney-shaped holes that are on the side of the Pando chamber. So I designed two brass greeblies to go in those holes just for a little bit of extra accent. I wanted to take full advantage of, you know, trying to personalize that Pando chamber. I went completely overboard with what I put in here. Okay. There's also a post here that you can add an SMD LED. You don't have to do this. But again, I just wanted to get as much in here as I possibly could. And I did go completely overboard. Case in point, there's also a circular NeoPixel ring at the bottom here from Shtok Custom Works. And then you can also put a singular NeoPixel under here if you want to go the extra mile. But yeah, there's room enough for I think it's a 16 or a 17 NeoPixel ring under here. All right. Then you can light that. You can light it with another NeoPixel if you want. SMD LED. And then up top, I've got another NeoPixel that illuminates this emerald. All right. So just like a lot going on in here. And there's already not a lot of real estate for wire management in these builds. It's very, very cram foo in there. So, but anyhow, that's it. Let's come up top and get a closer look. Okay, so here it is. This is a V3 from Rudy Pando. It also has Rudy Pando's crystal chamber in here, crystal reveal chamber. But yeah, this is a very, very beautiful hilt. Okay, so as I mentioned, I did score this on the Facebook Marketplace secondhand. I just been looking for a new project. I don't have a loop like this in my collection. I think that this is really, really unique. I actually wasn't able to find a lot about this on RPF other than it's a Rudy. I'm pretty sure it's just a Rudy V3 with a different midsection here, right? But I know my buddy Sam is probably watching me and shaking his head and saying, you should know better, Tim. But anyhow, so that's it, right? It's a very, very beautiful hilt, really well-made hilt. Threads are super buttery clean. It's just great, right? And this actually also happened to come with that Pando crystal chamber reveal, right? So again, I wanted to get something designed so we could put it in this crystal chamber. So let's get a look at that, right? To get at your crystal chamber, you can loosen the latch. It's a twist lock mechanism, and you open it up, and here it is, okay? I got to put a battery in it first. Let's put a battery. Oops. Let's put a battery in it. So I didn't even talk about my chassis when we were in Fusion. Neglected to do that. But this is a very, very small build, right? So as I mentioned, there's not a lot of real estate in these hilts, especially if you're going with that Rudy Pando chamber, because it does extend all the way up into here. All right, so you can't like really put a battery or anything up here. You can probably fit an 18650 in here, but it is super, super tight. So personally, I'm okay with an 18350. Builds like this for me are really only for display and putting a blade in once in a while. I'm not going to be using this for an extended period of time. And if I do, I'll just pop another battery in it, right? That's always been my view on 18350 batteries. I don't have a problem with using them. And especially in builds like this, you really need to maximize as much real estate as you can to get your board and wire management and everything, right? But here's my chassis. I'm going to go ahead and put my battery in here. I do have a kill switch.
I am a Jedi, like my father before.
So there's a kill switch here. I did also add 2 rectangular LEDs because I'm just extra that way. And just that's it, right? Just a very, very small chassis. Okay. The Proffie board peeks out just underneath the threads here, so I can get to my SD card and my USB port if I need to. Okay. So I've got my battery in there. Go ahead and put my grip back on. And then let's get a look at this crystal chamber, right? So one of the things I really love about this install and this the Pando crystal chamber is that it makes it so much more like utilitarian and realistic to me to be able to like undo the latch, twist lock, and reveal your crystal chamber, right? It's just like such an awesome, awesome application, right? So there's the crystal chamber. A lot going on in here. All right, so I've got that little baby SMD LED that is pulsing. I've got a real quartz point in here, and then if you can see, there is an emerald up top here. There are those side greeblies. Okay, there's the back of that crystal chamber, and here are the greeblies to the left and right of the crystal chamber. Now, sometimes, or typically what we see when people want to customize this Pando chamber even more, they get these routed or channels routed in them, and then you can add your own greeblies. And that looks really, really awesome too. But I wanted to do something that was a little bit more unique to me and easier to add for people, right? So that's it.
I'm Luke Skywalker.
I actually only have the one font on here right now, but there is that spinning turbine NeoPixel ring at the bottom, SMD LED, and then the emerald is up top there. Okay. I also did a custom blade plug for this one. But that is it, right? It's just such an awesome, unique crystal chamber reveal, right? I can't recommend this enough. For those of you that are looking to have like a nice reveal lightsaber, this is the way to go, in my opinion, right? Oops. I don't know if just activated here. Okay. Okay. So that's it. Let's come down to the bottom. All right, let's get a closer look at this crystal chamber here down with a better camera. Okay. There it is all lit up. Hopefully that's coming out. Okay. Just a really great. I just love it's super like satisfying to like undo a latch, twist it and open it like that. It's just really, really cool application. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put a blade in this really quickly. As most folks know, thin neck hilts have a very, very shallow blade depth. So I'm probably not going to be putting a blade in this a lot. It'll probably just be a display piece for me. This is the blade plug that I created for this. I just used a vintage Graflex contact button there for the blade plug. But yeah, we'll go ahead and put a blade in it really quick and just swing it around a little bit. I've only got the one font on here, but let's check it out. Okay, ready? Here we go. You know, something I also noticed about this particular V3 or this, Luke from Rudy Pando, it sounds way better than the one I have. So this is the V2 from Romans. And it's a little bit muffled because we don't have, the speakers are installed in here when you're doing Pando chambers. And that one does not have a lot of sound venting in it. This has routed holes and some other larger holes. So it sounds a lot louder. So I'm happy about that. Okay. That's it. That's the only font I have on here. Let's see if we can get a look at this crystal chamber. Here, there's that crystal chamber. So, that is it. That is the V3 from Rudy Pando. I keep wanting to call it the Spirit of OB1, even though that really wouldn't make sense to call it that. But it just seems like a really unique name. But yeah, that is the V3 from Rudy Pando with a Rudy Pando chamber and a custom crystal chamber add-on. So I'm really, really happy with how this one came out. If folks are interested, I will be listing this on my website as a kit if anyone would like to purchase it and install it in one of their hilts, right? So anyhow, that is all I've got. Thank you for sticking around and watching me ramble about one of my own personal hilts. Again, if anyone has any questions about it, please don't be a stranger. And with that being said, may the force be with you always. Have a good one, everybody.